Okay, as you know that it's already the week week 10th, so it's mean that our lessons is already the difficulties of the lesson is already increased. So today's material will be discussed about abstract class. So to be able for you to understand what is abstract class, it is required or mandatory for you to understand the inheritance concept and then also the basic class concept. And also the overriding concept. This is the three basic concepts that are mandatory for you to understand as a basic understanding for you to be able to understand what is abstract class. Okay. Firstly, what is an abstract class? Abstract class is a class that cannot be instantiated but can be extended. So this is the main keyword of the abstract class. The class cannot be instantiated. It means that you cannot create any object from this class. But the class can be extended. It's like a static class where the class itself cannot be instantiated. But the beneficiary of the abstract class is it can be extended, just like a normal class. So the main characteristic of the main characteristic of the abstract class would be it's similar like a basic class where it has properties and methods. And also it is required for an abstract class to have a method that have no bodies. So the method will only consist of a declaration without any bodies of the method itself. So it is also important for you to create an abstract class because you need to create at least one of an abstract method. So, okay, and always using the abstract class keyword to create an abstract class. So when do we use the abstract class? We will use the abstract class when we need to describe something that is general in nature, which can only function after it is described in a more specific form. So it can only be, we can only use the class when we create another specific form or another specific class. So in general, as a general class, it cannot, we cannot get the meaning of the, we cannot get the meaning of the class itself, but we can create or we can make the class functional by creating another specific form of the class or the abstract class. So this is the example of using the abstract class. As I already mentioned, animal is a general form of a class. So it means that an animal can be anything. So we cannot create an object based on this kind of condition. It means that animal can be represent anything such as cat, dog, fish, and and all of those animal have a different kind of characteristic, even though that it has some similar function name, but sometimes not sometimes, but the function itself is different one another. Let's say that animal can move, or animal could be able to move. Let's say we have a cat. Cat can move just like a normal animal. And also fish. Fish can also move, right? Fish can also move, but the movement between those animals are different. They are having a different characteristic on moving. Let's say the cat using their legs to move, and the fish using their fin to move. So even though that the function name is the same, but how they how they implement those functions are different. So that is why we need to use the abstract class. So an abstract class are supposed to be representing a general form of a class, okay, where it consists of several general attributes of function, and can represent almost all of the class under it. So this is the first definition. Let's say every animal can get older. So the answer would be yes. All animal will be older. And can all animals move? The answer will be yes. And how do the animals move? It will depends on the kind or the characteristic of the animal itself. So it shows a differentiation between each animal. So let's say we have a cat animals. So firstly, we need to questioning ourselves: is a cat an animal? So the answer is yes. And because cats are animal, it means that cats can get older and moving, right? So how do cats move? The cat will be moving by using his feet or its feet, stepping by using its feet. So let's say we are expanding those example. So let's say this is an animal class where the common attribute and the common method will be defined first. Animal have age, and animal have an aging method and also a movement method. So every animal should be able to do this function or this characteristic, and every animal will also have this attribute. So when we derive or inherit this class, means that the animal, let's say cat also have age and fish also have age, and cat also have aging method and fish also have aging method. As you can see that uh, the the method inside the abstract class, we have a common method where it will apply to all of all the animals under it, and also we have a question mark a method where it will be depends on the animal itself. Wait a minute, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So as I already mentioned that an abstract class must have at least one method that is only have a definition without having any bodies. So this is the method that I'm trying to pointing out. So even though that an abstract class have a method that has a body inside, but the requirement or the necessity for an abstract class is to have at least one or more of abstract method. Abstract method should only consist of a class definition. Sorry, a method definition without having any bodies. So as you can see that the aging method for the class cat and also the merging method belongs to the class fish is having the same method as its parent. But unlike the movement method, between cat class and fish class are different. Okay, where sorry, I cannot see it. Sorry. Okay. So as you can see, the movement between the cat class and the fish class are different because cat class is using leg for movement, and the fish is using fin for movement. So this is the how you create or how you use an abstract class. So it is similar with the inheritance class, but in an inheritance class, the parent class can be instantiated, but for an abstract class, the parent class cannot be instantiated. So there is the major difference between inheritance class and an abstract class. So from now on, every time you like to create an application, you need to have a clear definition whether I use an abstract class or whether I use an inheritance class. Okay. And the class diagram notation is similar with the inheritance class. As you can see, the notation is similar, where the arrow is pointing to the parent. But the main difference for using the annotation of the class diagram would be how you write the keyword of the class itself. Firstly, the class name should be italicized. Yeah, it means that it will be written down like sorry, what to say, annotated, and usually abstract information word will be written down below the class name itself. And the abstract method name is italicized as well, and the extended class abstract method names are where it rewritten is not italicized. It means that, as you can see, two of the main word that you have to italicize should be the class name and the method name where it's being abstracted. Okay. When the abstract method being derived into the class method, into the subclass method, then the derived class is no longer needed to be italicized. Okay, so keep this in mind. There is a change. There is a change behavior when the method have been derived into the subclass. So it's no longer italicized. Why? Because a derived method is no longer an abstract method. So it's already a normal method. But unlike in the abstract class, where the method is still on an abstract method. Okay, this is not an abstract method. This is a normal method. So that is why the written of the method name is not italicized anymore. So this is how you annotate or how you create a class diagram notation where you are trying to implement the abstract class concept. So it's similar with the inheritance. The differences would be only using the italicized word. Italicized word, okay. And this is the example of an abstract method where it will not have any implementation inside the body. So the first definition would be you need to create a keyword abstract in front of the method. Okay, so public abstract void moving or bergerak means that you are creating a method that is abstract and called moving or bergerak. And as you can see, this is a procedure kind of method, and this is a function kind of method because it has a return value. So there are no differentiation how you define a procedural kind of method and a functional kind of method because it's require an abstract keyword written down in front of the class name method. So one thing that you need to make sure that it should not have any bodies inside an abstract method. Okay. And this is another stress definition. Then an abstract class is a class that has at least one abstract method, as I already mentioned. So this is a mandatory requirement. Abstract class cannot be instantiated. Okay, so when you try to instantiate the object from the abstract class, then it will be it will have error on the compilation side. So to use an abstract class, another class is used. So you have to have a concrete class to be able for you to use the abstract class. And the concrete class, okay, must implement all the abstract method. As you know, from the previous explanation, I believe not previous, from the first explanation, a class can be derived or can become from three several conditions. It can be a concrete object, it can be a concept, and it also can be an abstract. Okay, this is how you implement an abstract class. And also, using when you are using the abstract class, the concrete class have to use the extend keywords, similar with the inheritance concept. So when a concrete class implement an abstract class, let's say a creatures, okay, creatures of or makhluk hidup, yeah, where it can implement the walk method, and the human is using the creatures method. So human class or manusia is an extension of a creatures class. So it is not necessarily for you to create the super keyword, unlike in an inherited class, where it is required for you to access the superclass by using the keyword super. So in the abstract class, it is not necessarily for you to use the super keyword anymore, and it is not necessarily for you to create the constructor inside an abstract class, because as you know, the abstract class cannot be instantiated. So it is not necessarily for you to create the constructor inside the abstract class. When do we use abstract method and abstract class? We will use the abstract method when there are two or more subclasses are designed to meet the same rule but having a different implementation. As I already give you an example, the similar method would be moving, but the implementation between a cat and fish are different. But they have a similar method name. So this kind of condition should make you consider to use the abstract method. And also, sometimes the subclasses extend the same abstract class, but having a different implementation of the abstract method. Using abstract class as a general concept at the top level class hierarchy. And you are trying to, and you're also using a multiple subclass to detail abstract class implementation. So you have to keep in your mind regarding to on using an abstract class. So the main point would be it have to have at least one or more an abstract method. Okay. Even though it is allowed for you to have a non-abstract method. So it's already I already give you a clear example regarding to that condition. So how we use the abstract class, the main condition would be creating the class by adding the keyword abstract in front of the class name, and how to create an abstract method also by using the abstract keyword in front of the method name. So this is another example. Firstly, we create an abstract class, creatures, where it have an abstract method moving, and also having a normal method, which is breeding and also eating. So it is okay for you to mix the method between abstract and a normal method. It is okay. So you need to keep it in your mind that a normal method of an abstract class should have a similar or the same implementation to all of the subclass, even though that you can always overriding the method itself. But at least this normal method can represent the same implementation to most of the subclass under the abstract class. So for the abstract class, implementation should be different to all of the subclass. And another example, let's say we have an abstract class called printer, and the abstract class, the printer abstract class will be derived into Canon printer and Samsung printer, where Samsung printer is a lesser kind of printer, and the Canon is an ink-based printer. So both of the printer having the scanning ability. Okay, and also it has a printing abilities between the Samsung and Canon, but the implementation between the Samsung and the Canon when they print is different. So that is why we are creating an abstract method to represent the printing implementation. And we are using a normal method to represent the scanning method because the implementation for scanning between the two printers are the same. The only difference are the printing implementation. So that is why we need to create an abstract method to represent the printing function or the printing implementation. And it is also allowed for a subclass to have their own method. It is not mandatory, or it is okay for a subclass to have their own method and exclusively belongs to the subclass itself. So it's just like a normal class, but the difference is the class was extended from an abstract class. Okay, and for the last meeting, I would like to give you an exercise, and hopefully by giving you this exercise will will triggering your understanding regarding to the abstract class itself. So I wanted you to imagine or to try to looking for a case study by implementing an abstract class. And after you create those case study, I also wanted you to try to draw it by using the UML class diagram. So that's all for my presentation today.